Tonight, we recall what these co-curricular programs offer our student athletes. It's called education-based athletics. It's about fostering camaraderie, friendship, and mutual respect, both on and off the field and court. It's the power of teamwork, empathy, and understanding. Beyond the specific skills of a sport or activity, these individuals have the opportunity to learn important principles that can guide them the rest of their lives. Learn sportsmanship to win humbly and gracefully, and to lose with dignity. Model integrity through playing by the rules. Use teamwork in order to contribute to a greater goal in which the athlete places the team's success or recognition before that of an individual. Reach out to assist teammates, which translates into helping others around them in life and contributing to the community. Develop perseverance and the ability to bounce back from defeats. Incorporate goal setting learned through athletics into their approach to life. Develop a solid work ethic that emphasizes preparation and effort. May all student athletes find fulfillment, joy, and a deep sense of purpose in every moment of this incredible journey of education-based athletics. I am honored to be the person behind the scenes working to provide the best possible experience for our student athletes. Our guest speaker tonight attended Seton Hall Prep High School in New Jersey. He had a 3.9 GPA and was a member of the National Spanish Honor Society. He was the Gatorade National High School Player of the Year for baseball in 2007. He committed to the University of North Carolina. After his senior year of high school, he was drafted by the Detroit Tigers in the first round and decided to forego college to play professionally. He played 12 seasons in the Major League Baseball, 6 for the Detroit Tigers, 5 for the Boston Red Sox, and 1 for the New York Mets. Oh, there is a Mets fan. In 2016, he won the American League Cy Young Award, and in 2018, the World Series with none other than the Boston Red Sox. Please join me in giving a warm Rebel Nation welcome to Rick Porcello.
Thank you very much. Tammy took half my speech, so this is going to be a little repetitive, but hope you guys hang in there. Hello to everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I just want to say thank you to Terry Merrill and Tammy Clausen for organizing this and giving me the opportunity to speak to the student athletes, coaches, teachers, and parents here at Leland and Gray. I would like to share some of my thoughts and experiences as a young student athlete through my professional career and beyond. There are several things that come to mind when I think of what it means to be a good student athlete. One is setting goals for yourself. This means not only setting a goal in the playing field, but also in the classroom. When you pick something that you want to achieve, be sure it's a goal for yourself as an individual and not something to compare to others. We all have different abilities and skill sets, and the most important thing you can do is challenge yourself on a personal level. Be careful not to judge your accomplishments against your peers or people you see on social media, and don't compare yourself to perfect. In baseball, if you're a great hitter, you're batting around 300. This means you're failing 7 out of 10 times. Whether you succeed or fail, always be positive. Focus on what you can do in the classroom and on the field to get better, and take pride in those improvements. Comparing oneself to others can often lead us feeling like we aren't good, which can take away from our happiness and the process of self-improvement. Always do the best you can, strive to achieve your personal goals, and I promise you'll be fulfilled within your own journey. The next point I believe is important being a good student athlete is being proactive. Whether it's studying for a test, finishing your homework on time, getting a few extra reps in at practice, or asking questions when you don't know the answer. Be proactive. If we fail to prepare, then we are preparing to fail. Being proactive also means being a good teammate. Whether it's in school or on the playing field, be supportive to each other. If someone had a bad day, be there for them through positive encouragement. A leader does not always have to be the best student or player. It can be that person that has a positive impact on others because they care and support them. Your peers will gravitate to you if you're someone that makes them feel supported and confident. When we talk about the term student athlete, there is a reason why the word student comes first. It's a privilege to represent yourself and your school academically and athletically. With this comes a responsibility to always do your best to keep your grades in good order. It takes hard work to balance academics and athletics. Getting your schoolwork done with practice and games can be difficult. Do your best to meet that challenge. Your future in college and eventually finding a career path are down the road, but the journey of setting yourself up for the best chance of success starts now. Dedication as a student gives you options to make decisions when that time comes. I can tell you that I did not anticipate being a professional baseball player. I did my best to focus on academics first and sports second. I think this approach helped me get accepted to school at the University of North Carolina. I was extremely fortunate to get drafted by the Detroit Tigers out of high school. I ultimately decided to play professionally and forego my college education, but I felt like I had options. It does not matter what you choose to do, as we all have different paths that make us happy, but applying yourself to your studies will give you the opportunity to have several options when the time comes to find out what you're meant to do with your life. When it comes to being an athlete, your studying is not done when you leave the classroom. Be a student of the game as well. You can observe a lot by watching. Take time to notice how the game is played. Watch how your teammates react, understand how each position requires you to focus on different things. When you absorb the ins and outs, you become a better player. Sports are about having fun and sharing the field of competition with your teammates. It's also about pushing yourself to be the best you can be for you and your team. Another aspect of being a student athlete is staying motivated and surrounding yourself with positive individuals. A good way to stay motivated is taking the goals that you set for yourself seriously. Challenge yourself to strive for your goals, and that should keep you motivated. Sometimes we can veer off course. Maybe we're distracted by something or a situation that bothers us. It could be a difficult test or a tough call in a game. If you have good friends, teammates, coaches, and teachers around you, they will help you think positively and stay focused on your goals. My last thought on being a student athlete is to enjoy the journey. We've talked a lot about goals and ways to achieve them. One of the most important things you can do is embrace the process. You may not always succeed, and that's okay. But as the great Babe Ruth once said, never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. I would like to think of the game as the game of school, sports, and life. Stop every once in a while and appreciate what you have and are experiencing. These times you have in school and on the playing field are memories that you will cherish for years to come. So my best advice would be to stop and smell the roses, enjoy your friendships with your classmates, teammates, and everything you share together. Thank you very much for having me here, and I hope you guys could get something out of some of the words I put together. So thank you.
I just have a little Leland and Brain gift to present to Rick and his wife, Catherine. And Rick felt like there would be some time for some Q&A. So I think what I said I could do is give him a mic, and I'll pass a mic out here. And we hope they don't squeal.
Any questions are accepted.
I'll start it off. As a professional athlete, we get to see you during the game, on TV during the game. What's a typical day of a professional athlete like?
Yeah, I mean, when the season starts, it's, we play 162 games in the MLB, so it's a lot of travel. You're playing basically every day. Some months you have maybe one off day, but as you know, all the games are generally, unless you have a day game, it's at 7 o'clock. So you sleep till 9 or 10, you get up, get some breakfast, and head to the ballpark, and then the process of the day and preparation starts. For me as a starting pitcher, I would pitch once every 5 days, so I would have workouts, different physical therapy things I would do, running, throwing, working with our trainers, our coaches, and then, that's generally takes 4 or 5 hours, and we have batting practice, and then we lead up to the game. When you're on the road, you're in a hotel for 7 to 10 days on a normal road trip. You pretty much just live at the stadium every day, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing to get to experience. I think it can be a lot because it's a long season, but just like we talked about stopping and smelling the roses, no matter how your baseball season is going, I always felt like I was so grateful to be there and truly lucky.
Who was the most challenging batter you ever had to pitch against?
I get this a lot, and I had some really good years in the big leagues. I also had some that were not so good. I think I gave up like 150, 200 home runs, something like that. So on any given day, the entire lineup. But no, Robinson Cano, when he was in New York and a little bit younger, he was a really tough out for me. There's a huge list. I struggled against left-handed hitters primarily, especially early on in my career. They were always the most difficult hitters for me to get out, and it wasn't until I learned to cutter and to pitch those guys inside a little bit more that I started having more success.
So you obviously had great success in your career, Cy Young, World Series. You also must have had some negatives happen. You get beat up on the field, your pitch doesn't go where you want, back-to-back home runs or whatever. How do you deal with that adversity? Like, what goes through your mind? How do you set yourself mentally to get ready to face the next pitcher or batter?
Yeah, I think you have to have a short memory, and I think that stands for baseball, and it stands for a lot of things, challenges and things that we experience in life that maybe don't go so well. To kind of harp on the negatives, it doesn't do you any good. You take what you need to learn from them, and you take that and you move forward with it, and tomorrow's always a new day. Probably one of my most difficult seasons was my first year in Boston. I had just signed my contract. I was really excited to go out there and show Red Sox Nation what I could do, and I stunk. And it motivated me to get better, and I think the most important thing is you think about the fans, you think about the organization, your teammates, and what you have to do to be there, to have their back and play well and be a winner on the field. So I was able to kind of flush that season down, and the next year was the year that I won the Cy Young. So my best advice is have a short memory. Don't completely forget about things, because you have to, understand what went wrong and then get better with it. But don't let your emotions and those sorts of feelings get in the way of your improvement and what you're going to be doing down the road.
What advice would you give to our athletes with dealing with injuries? Because as the mom of an athlete, they like to rush through the healing process.
Yeah. I think as I was the same way. If I didn't feel great, I was kind of bullheaded and thinking I could go play. And oftentimes when you rush through injuries, you only set yourself back even more. So you really have to take the time to heal with whatever it is that you're experiencing, because if you go back too quickly and you get hurt again, then you're missing playing time even more. So take a little extra time on the front end so that you know you're fully healthy and you can be back playing the game that you love and enjoying it for the long term.
You said student first a lot. What was like the moment that you were most proud of as a student?
That's a great question. I think the moment that I was most proud of being a student was just, my grades, because I knew it wasn't something that came easily, and I would get recognized for that sometimes more than my baseball ability. And the books didn't come naturally to me. I wasn't one of those kids that could just show up for a test and ace it. I had to study and work hard. My parents were very instrumental in stressing the importance of academics to me. So I think, even when I got into professional baseball, some of the coaches were already thinking I was extremely smart because they saw my GPA, and they found out soon that I wasn't that smart. That's what made me proud, was that that's something that sticks with you. And you put the work in, and people will notice, and colleges will notice, and that's part of your future and your legacy.
How much do you bench?
I don't know. I just planted about 10 rhododendron today, so that's my scale on exercising. You do so much exercising as a professional athlete, and you're in the weight room a ton, that honestly, once I stopped playing, I haven't got back into it. I tried to go for a run the other day. I lasted about 3 minutes and 30 seconds and thought I was going to throw up. So I'm going to stick to the landscaping.
What's your opinion of the Yankees?
As a member of Red Sox Nation, I think you know the answer to that.
Follow-up question. Is it true you struck out 13 Yankees in a game?
I think so, yeah. If it says it in the books, then it's true.
Besides a pitcher, what type of position do you think you would play?
Well, up until I got drafted, I played the outfield, shortstop, first base. I played 3 sports until I got to high school, and then I stuck with basketball and baseball. I got a pretty bad injury in football in my 8th grade year, and I still wanted to play, but my parents, took the keys from me on that one. But yeah, so I think the most important thing for any of you guys is to not specialize in one sport and enjoy the seasons. They're, football season, basketball, baseball. There are different times of year for a reason. You can participate in all of them. If you choose not to, that's okay too. But play different positions. As young adults and youth, you never know how you're physically going to grow and develop, and you might be tabbed as a pitcher or a shortstop when you're 10 or 12 years old, and then you grow out of that position and find out when you're 15, 16 that you're better at something else. So when given the opportunity, I would highly recommend jumping at playing different positions, and it also gives you a better perspective of the game on the field, from whether it's any sport. If you're all over the field and you're learning how to play those positions, you have a better understanding of what's going on.
So you talked about goal setting. What was the goal you set when you were playing, and what's a current goal you have?
The goal that I set when I was playing was to be there to take the ball every 5th day. not every game for me was gonna go well, but I really tried to work hard on my preparation for the season, through my training and different practice techniques and whatnot, so that I could perform once every fifth day, because especially now, we're seeing a lot of injuries in starting pitching in baseball, and I felt like if I was one of those guys that my teammates, coaches, organization could count on to be there to pitch every fifth day, then that was pretty important. And my goal now is to try and give back to the kids that are playing sports, not even just baseball, but you know, I'm helping out Coach Floodbrook. I think we play Leland and Gray Middle School team at the end of the year, so that'll be fun to see you guys again. But the game of baseball gave me a lot in my life, and my mission now is to be a good husband to my wife, be a good dog dad, and give back to the youth, you know, in sports, and you know, try and give you guys some insight that hopefully will help you with your futures athletically and academically.
Have you ever gotten a fight on the field?
That's a yes.
Yep. I have. And I was 20 years old, and I was pretty scared out of my mind. Crazy bald dude named Euclid coming after me, trying to throw a helmet and tackle me. I didn't know what was going on.
How was your connection with your catchers? Who was your favorite?
Yeah, the pitcher-catcher relationship is extremely important. I was very lucky. We had two great catchers in Boston, and Christian Vasquez and Sandy Leon, and you know, that they were, I don't want to say that because I had, you know, 4 or 5 other guys that had caught me throughout my career, and they were also great, but those guys really worked at it, and they wanted to work for me behind the plate. They wanted to work for our team, and it showed through on how well they caught a game, called a game with pitch signs and whatnot. They were always willing to communicate, meet with me if something we were doing on the mound wasn't working. You know, and I think the catcher is one of, if not the most important position on the field, and I think those two guys are a huge reason why we're able to win the World Series in 2018. They're really the captains, and you know, as pitchers, you can get a little emotional up there, so you need those guys to keep you in line.
What was your training like in season and out of season in high school?
That's a great question. You know, I was pretty dedicated to basketball my first 2 years of high school, and then started to realize that I might have a future and possibly have baseball be something that could help me get into college. So I started doing some more training in the wintertime. Mainly a lot of basic weightlifting. We called it the dungeon. It was a small, like 10 by 10 room in my high school that, you know, we had some dumbbells and whatnot, but I started to learn some more like arm care exercises, things to strengthen my shoulder, my scap, some stretches, some different things like that, and incorporated that into my senior year. But I think it's something that can be very beneficial if you approach it the right way. You know, trying to go into the weight room and see how much you can deadlift or see how much you can squat might be, you know, great for social media or your own personal numbers on how high you go, but that's not necessarily strength that translates to athletics. So there's a lot of really good programs online, and you can find them that really help you figure out what your focus should be when you do end up getting into the weight room and doing strength and conditioning. But I think, you know, I don't think there's really an age where you're too young to at least start to do something. Maybe 8, 9, 10 years old, but once you hit 12 or 13, you can start strength and conditioning and doing it at the appropriate level, and you know, you might be surprised at how much it helps you on the field, not only performance-wise, but help you stay healthy.
So if you pitched today with the pitch clock, how do you think you would have done with the pitch clock?
I think, I can't say for sure because I never pitched with it, but I think I would have been okay with the pitch clock. One, because I always worked fast, and two, I was not a max effort velocity pitcher. And I think the game is shifting now to where you see a lot of guys that are throwing 95 plus and their fastballs are max effort. So, without them being able to take more time in between pitches, maybe they're fatiguing a little bit quicker, but I always thought it was important to work fast. I mean, and that comes back my younger days when I was playing a position. If we had a pitcher on the mound that was taking forever, it gets very difficult to be reactive to a ball that gets hit into play when you're kind of standing on your heels for 25, 30 seconds in between every pitch. All right.
One more question. What's the fastest you ever pitched?
I don't know. I think hit 95, 96, something like that. But I'm mainly sat, like my sinker would be anywhere from 88 to 92. My four-seam fastball would be 93, 94 on a really good day. It's not always about velocity. They're located. Anyone else?
What do you miss the most about the game?
Well, I do love the game of baseball, and competing is something that my wife now experiences if we're playing pool or ping pong. I can get a little over the top, but the camaraderie with my teammates. You spend a lot of time together, and you spend more time with your teammates in professional baseball than you do with your own families. So those guys, you get very close with them, and those guys are your best friends, and you're in the games together, battling against the opponents, and it's something that you share, and it's part of kind of the point I was trying to make to you guys at the end of the speech today is really cherish your friendships and your bonds with your classmates and teammates, because they're special times, and you don't always have that opportunity to be a part of something together.
If baseball didn't work, what would have been your next choice for sports?
It's a great question. For sports?
Or, I guess,
Or,
just a path in life.
yeah, I think, I don't know. I was going to University of North Carolina and was going to try and get into the business school. Now I'll never know if that would have happened, but it's hard to say. I think I really enjoy working with people and something that would be hopefully helpful to others. And it's a good question. I'll get back to you on that. I'll call you back.
Who is your biggest inspiration growing up?
Another great question. I think my biggest inspiration, probably my father. I didn't realize it when I was younger, but as I got older and saw, how hard he worked to put food on the table for myself and my two brothers, and after a long day of work, he'd be willing to play catch with me in the yard. He was at every game I played in. He was just, very inspiring to me, and that was something that, when I started to actually understand the sacrifices that he made, especially when I got into my professional career, it had a big impact on me, and I think it's what motivated me to work hard and try and persevere through ups and downs.
The boys over here want to know if you'll play on men's slow pitch.
Yeah, I'll play.
Turn it down a few notches.
I was at the fly fishing festival in Arlington, and there was men's slow pitch. They were playing from 9 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And I wanted to get in there, so yeah, I'd love to play. When's the next game? All right, well, thank you guys very much for having me, and thank you guys.
At this time, I'd like to honor our first varsity letter winners this year. And when your name is called, if you could just come on up, if my coaches could help, hand these out. Perhaps if it's the athlete that you coach, go for it. So I know some are missing tonight, but I'm still going to announce every name. Izzy Amadin, girls basketball. Sky Beach, ultimate disc. Sierra Chris, softball. Jackson Cuts, baseball. Colin Dunleavy Mercier, boys basketball. Ryan Dunn, baseball. Sophia DeRozier, ultimate disc. Henrik Ewing, boys soccer. Frankie Flood, baseball. Ronan Foley, boys soccer and track and field. Lucas Gleason, boys soccer. Tekla Goodman, track and field. Sophia Halleck, girls soccer and softball. Dylan Hazelton, ultimate disc. Seamus Henderson, boys soccer. River Olson, baseball. Josana Passano, girls soccer. Ryan Peloso, baseball. Roselle Perez, track and field. Oren Stiles, baseball. Maxton Wells, ultimate disc. Lenore Whittam, girls soccer, girls basketball, and softball. All right, next, our class of 2024 athletic awards. It's in your program, and they will all receive these beautiful plaques. Leland and Gray Middle High School, nice emblem, Senior Athlete Award. It's got their name and all the sports that they've earned varsity letters in. So I'll just, again, when your name is called, come on up and coaches just help me out. Isabel Amadin, basketball, she's not here. Oliver Anderson. Olivia Bell. Strike break. Peyton Batinsky. Jackson Fillion. Amanda Fontaine. Trevor Hazelton. James Seamus Henderson. Finch Holmes, returning from 7 weeks away, not here tonight. Same with Theo Calloway. And I missed Gabriella Halleck. Sorry, I took my glasses off. I'll put them back. Ava LaCourse. Will O'Brien. Maggie Parker. Kiki Pena. Dylan Pearson. Paul Pearson. Mary Sanderson. Stephen Shine. And we know Samantha Subitsky is also on a plane coming home. And our final senior, Matthew Chip Winkler. Okay, this is where we're going to try to keep things moving. Just going to call up our teams, and the coaches will just pass out the certificates and their pins, and we've already done letters, so we're good. Oops. Boys varsity soccer, and again, all the rosters are in here, so I'm not going to read every single name, but here we are celebrating varsity boys soccer. So if you play varsity boys soccer, come on up. Varsity girls soccer. Next up, we'll call up anyone who played varsity boys basketball or JV boys basketball. All right, next up we have our girls basketball program. Come on up, coaches. Okay, our next team is our high school snowboarding team. Next up, varsity softball. Next up, we have our JV softball team. All right, we're getting there. High school track and field. And last but not alphabetically least, we have our ultimate disc team. Yeah, that wasn't too painful, right? That was quick. All right, and our last few awards that I have here tonight are for, again, our spring sports are still in full swing, so nobody has received any all-league honors yet. But for the fall and the winter, I would like to acknowledge boys soccer Division C all-league players were Paul Pearson and Finch Holmes, so come on up. For girls soccer in the C division as well, we have Mary Sanderson, Maggie Parker, and Ava LaCour. And I'll save Maggie a few steps. She also received SBL All-League honors for girls basketball. Maggie Parker. last couple awards I have, I just had trouble with the alignment, but I tried to calligraphy them, but my pen wouldn't work. So I will get you your all-state certificates for soccer, and those go to, yeah, girls soccer. Oh, okay, so the same three that just received their SPL. Maggie Parker, Mary Sanderson, and Ava LaCour also represented Leland and Gray at the All-State soccer games. And then Finch Holmes for the boys. And again, Finch isn't here, but a round of applause for Finch. That concludes our first annual High School Sports Awards banquet. Thank you all for being here. I hope you enjoyed this new format. And good luck to all our spring teams still competing. Yeah, I think Rick said he's certainly willing to take pictures or sign your t-shirt, whatever.